Good morning, it's Lindsay. It is January 21st, 2025. Um, I'm in bed. It's really cold outside, and it's like freezing cold outside, and there's snow, well, ice and whatnot on the ground, so can't really go anywhere. Can't go to the gym today. So I thought I'd make a video. Haha. And perfect because I woke up really early. I took a shower, but now I'm just back in my bed because it's freezing cold in this house and outside. My heater is no longer working. The central heat in the house, so I'm just basically using a little space heater. Anyway, that beside the point. So yeah, this is what I look like when I'm fresh out of the shower with no makeup on. Nice, and my hair not done. Yeah, anyway, who cares, right? I guess I'm not gonna worry about that right now. But I want to talk about some weird stuff, and I guess I'm gonna go back to dark mode. You get the idea that this is a real me. No makeup, no hair pieces, nothing, just me. Hi. But anyway, I'm gonna turn the light back out because I just don't feel like, I just would rather do a video in the dark. But so I want to talk about some more weird things about this stuff that's going on in my life with all the gaslighting and I guess you could call it smear campaign, narcissistic abuse, whatever these terms are. And mind you that I was not familiar with all this kind of stuff as far as all the terminology about narcissism until I want to say like about 7 years ago. But before that, of course, I knew what a target, gang stalking, target individuals. Of course, I knew about all that and heard about all that terminology and was able to educate myself all about that. And I'm still on a continuous path of education about that because that once you open up that rabbit hole, it goes on and on and on with all the gang stalking crap and government fusion center harassment and vigilante, all that goes on. Directed energy weapons, it's all intertwined with the military and the government, and that goes on and on and on. Okay, so that's another rabbit hole you have to crawl into. Well, I crawled into that fucking rabbit hole starting in 2003 or 4 or whatever, after I got that elimination from that job at Rice University. That's when the gang stalking, surveillance, harassment road really that I got on that road and started going nonstop, okay, on that path or of a lane of destruction. Well, yeah, in a way, because it just opened up so many doors to more people stalking. Because that's what happens once you expose them, Because exposure is the one thing they can't stand. Once you call these people out for their shenanigans and bullshit and whatnot, the exposing them is their biggest fear. And then, of course, I learned that it has to do with, when I started to really do more research, and now lately, especially more research about, believe it or not, the Bible and religion. It all is really, really making sense to me now how this stuff manifests and works. And it all is pretty much biblical. It all is prophesized in the Bible. Because obviously, as people know, Jesus himself was a gang-stalked individual, targeted individual. And so they drove him out of every single place he'd go to because they were afraid of him. They were afraid of his knowledge, and they were afraid of what he knew. And they feared him. And when people fear the unknown, they tend to not like a person. They either gravitate towards you or they flee because of their fear and insecurities, because you have a light that outshines them, and they don't like that. And that's what happened to, obviously, Jesus Christ. Is the most targeted individual in the whole entire planet or history. Anyway, so back to that. So and then I started doing more and more research about the book of Revelations, the Genesis and the Bible, and then Noah's Ark and the story of Cain and Abel, and the curse of Canaan, the curse of Ham, And I started to really, I'm still on a path of educating myself about this, because that is quite interesting to me. All the biblical connections to targeted individuals and the government and gang stalking, and then when you start learning about the history, obviously, of Europe and about the United States and all that, which is essential to know, but, it's pivotal to know your history so that you can really kind of understand who you are, why things happen to certain people, and know who. I think that as a targeted person for myself, knowing, and that's what makes me so mad, is not knowing exactly who my biological father is and feeling like I've been lied to as to that is so aggravating, because someone like myself, who is so fascinated with genealogy and history and DNA and blood type and things like that, how to not know, to be lied to about who I really am and who my father is a most damaging thing for me. It's more damaging than anything you can imagine, being lied to about that, because these kinds of things to me are essential to know. And that I find it to be so damaging when you're being lied to by your own family, by your own mother, about these kinds of things, because it's so disrespectful for a person who has a child. I'm talking about my mother here. How could you do that to your own daughter? How could you do that to your own kid? Lie to them about who they really are. Lie to them about who their biological father is, and completely gaslight them their entire life, and psychologically exploit them emotionally in ways that are so horrendous and damaging, especially as a child grows older and becomes an adult. And that right there is a form of severe psychological trauma and abuse, betrayal trauma, etc. And that happened to me. And I'm not playing victim here. I'm not trying to play victim. I'm just stating the facts of why I am so misunderstood and struggle so much in life. And most of it has to do with the fact that, well, I was not told the truth about who I really am. It's as if my entire life is a big lie. And whenever you have gone through that, people think it doesn't affect you. Well, yeah, maybe as a kid it doesn't affect you as much because you're too young to really understand much about life. You haven't had enough real experiences yet to really have the maturity to understand and grasp things. But as you get older and you go through changes and trials and errors and things that have happened to you, then it starts to make sense. And then you start to ask questions, and then you want to know the truth, and nobody wants to tell you the truth. Or they punish you. You get punished and ostracized and crazy and labeled as being mentally ill, schizophrenic, deranged, histrionic, borderline, bipolar. All these labels that they slap onto you for simply wanting to know the truth and seeking answers, and then reacting to the abuses of society at large whenever you're a targeted individual, because it is on a large platform societal abuse of their own ignorance towards things that a person has gone through, and people interfering in your personal life, invading your space, and then acting as if they are here to save you, playing savior, playing hero, only to come into your life to create chaos and havoc into your existence, because these people don't like who you are. They don't want to see you evolve. They don't want you to shine. They don't want your light to shine. They want you to stay in a delusional state of mind where you're basically living in a purgatory of their creation. And you have the right to create your own life, your own path. We all have our own path that we take. It changes, it meanders, it takes its core. Sometimes it comes to a stop. There's road pit. There's construction. There's changes, and then you navigate your way around it. Right? Nothing's linear. Everything is basically, in my life at least, it's all over the place. I don't have a straight line that I follow. I don't follow a straight path. I follow a path of my own creation that I have made up, that I make, and I try to do the best I can. God knows, but I fail. I mean, I do the fucking best I can, and there's only so much a person is able to do when they're just fucking exhausted and they cannot do anymore. And it's not, I'm a human being. I'm not a machine. But I get treated as if I'm supposed to do this, I'm supposed to do that. And let me tell you, one thing about, for example, when you go to the gym like I do every day, pretty much, except when they're closed or the whatever, or I'm so sick I can't go, but today it happens to be closed because of the weather conditions and the roads. I don't think they're open. Right now, the roads are, it's pretty bad out. The roads are pretty icy right now, so I'm not going to try to fucking drive all the way over there only to find out that they're closed, and risk it's freezing cold out there. It's like 20 degrees or something. Cold for me, maybe not for some of you people that's not as cold, but you know what? I don't like the cold. I'm not used to it, and in this fucking house, it's like about 10 degrees. It's freezing cold in the house that I live in. Very, very miserably cold. And it's horrible. It's horrible. I have to stay in my bed to keep warm. It's fucking freezing here. Anyway, so the gym thing, yeah, once they see you doing something like on a treadmill or the way you work out or whatever, of course it's all about body and exploiting people, right? Especially with women. And it's very insulting to be looked at. I personally don't really enjoy being watched when I'm exercising because I get into it so much and go off into my own zone that I don't really pay attention. I try not to pay attention to anything that's going on around me because I don't want to be distracted. I'm focused on what I'm doing and I treat it as if I'm at a job. I'm focusing, I'm concentrating, I'm doing my work. It's a work. It's basically, I'm doing a work. Maybe on myself and other things, but you people don't know and you don't have any fucking idea and you don't have any fucking right to try to exploit me or to try to, interfere with what I'm doing, my energy work. It's energy work. If people don't understand that now, you'll never understand it because you don't do that every fucking day like I do. You don't get on the treadmill and fucking push yourself like that and do what I do because most of you don't want to and you can't do it and I understand. But don't fucking harass me because I do like to do that. It's none of your fucking business, quite frankly. If I could do that in a little dark closet all by myself somewhere, I'd be happy. If I could go in a room with maybe one or two treadmills where there's no one else around and it's just a smaller, dark room with no fucking TVs, I'd be in heaven. I don't give a fuck about the bright light and about the fucking TVs and all the shit going around me because I'm focused on what I'm doing, my music and my exercise. And it's a constant, it takes mental and physical agility to do that. Okay, it's not easy. It's not as easy as you people think to do that. Okay, it's not easy, and I don't expect it to be, but the problem is that once people see you doing that in public, and then they see you over and over again, they expect that you're supposed to fucking be able to do that all the time, like a fucking robot or a machine, and then when you don't, or you're not able to as well, then they start fucking harassing you, and mocking you, and bullying you, and doing other shit like that, like they do to me, stalking me, and I've been going through that same shit for... Let me see. I started going to the gym in Houston. Well, first in Austin, Texas at World Gym. The first dosage I got going to the gym. Well, before that, it was actually the Houstonian. My mother's one of her ex-boyfriends who I really liked a lot and I got along with quite well. He was a very nice man, very good to me. And I really liked we just got along pretty well compared to some of the others, but his name was Mark. Mark used to be a member of the Houstonian in Houston. He used to take us, or I would go with them sometimes, and I'd go to the little gym that they had, and I started getting into that, and I enjoyed that a lot, and I was probably only I guess 16 years old at that time, but he used to take me, or maybe 17, so that was my first ever, and then there was another gym on Kirby Boulevard in Houston that he was a member of. that I used to be able to go to too, or my mother, I don't know. Somehow I was able to go there. I wasn't an actual member, but they were, or he was. And so I could go there sometimes, and I started getting a feel for it, and I really liked that. It was a small, privately owned, nice gym, and I felt, wow, this is cool. I really like this. And it was in Kirby, Upper Kirby District, in this little shopping center. It was a really nice gym, and I don't remember the name of it because they, of course, closed down, but I used to get on the machines there, and I was like, I really like this, and that was when I was still a teenager. So I started, but then once I got to college and I went off to New Mexico, I went to Bolivia, and then I went to New Mexico State University after I graduated Lamar. I didn't really get into I wasn't so interested in all that stuff. I was more interested in other things and not really exercise, like going to the gym, let's just say. It wasn't really my thing. So I wasn't into that. But now, of course, I am. It's my passion. It's a big, major passion for me, the gym. But, I'd go to, I would walk but I wasn't much of into fitness at all. I really wasn't my thing. I just would walk around a little bit on campus, and maybe that's about it. That was about the extent of my exercising at that point in my life. So I just was more into my studies. All I did was studied and did my radio show, and that was really about it. Yeah, I walked, and I stayed healthy, but I just wasn't all into the gym thing. I was still a healthy person, but not anything like my, now my gym is my world revolves around it right now. And I can find it, for me, it just happens to be Gold's Gym because they have the equipment that I like, and I kind of am used to the atmosphere because I've been to others and I'm just not too satisfied with their cardio equipment. And for me, it's all about that mostly because I like those cardio machines and I love machines. So it's kind of a big deal for me when they have a treadmill that I really like. Then I go out of my way to fucking go there because it's worth it. And I know people don't understand that. They think that's crazy, but no, it's not. It's not crazy when you have a passion for something. It's not crazy. It's called having passion. And when people have passion for something that they like to do, whatever their job is or something that they really enjoy doing, well, then that's good. That's what they like to do. So what? Let them do that. If they enjoy doing that, then that's what they like to do. And nobody has a right to tell them that they can't do that. If you like to go, we all have our interests. We all have things I like. The gym isn't all I do. I do a lot of things. You don't know half of what I do. That's just part of what I do. I can do a lot of things. I wear multiple hats. But the gym is a very pivotal part of my day, of my existence, and it always will be until the day I die. It's a big deal to me that after breaking my hip and going through all the recovery and having to rehabilitate myself and going to doctor's appointments and having a metal implant in my right femur hip, of course, the gym is a big deal for me now, especially because I cannot and will not run outside on the concrete as I did when I was younger. Because I simply cannot. It's not feasible. It's not logical for my injury in my body to do that. So I know what I'm doing. I do things, everything I do for a reason. I don't just do things randomly. I know what I use my brain a lot more than I'm given credit for. And I analyze, I think, I'm a good person. I'm very, very observant. Yet, you'd think that I would get paid to go to the gym and do all this. You'd think that there'd be something for me that they could pay me to do, like maybe be a general fucking manager since I'm always keeping an eye on everything and fucking picking up everybody's fucking trash anyway. You'd think that maybe somebody would recognize that I have some qualities and some attributes that would be able to contribute, but no. I'm educated, I have a college degree, I have experience, I've got life experience, I'm emotionally intelligent and artistic, but not me. No, I don't get a job. I don't get paid, which is fucking insane with my abilities and not trying to fucking toot my own horn or brag, but it's a truth. It's a truth that I have a lot of qualities that I've been exploited for, yet I don't get paid. And it's not fair. I don't think that's fair. I do not. I have worked very, very hard to get to where I am on myself, on my body, and it is not easy. It's a daily chore. It's daily concentration, and nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. I don't strive to be perfect. I strive to be the best I can be, and that's all I can do, is be the best version of myself. And that's what I want, is just to be the best version of who I already am. I'll have to stop this for a minute and I'll come back.